Try not to knock my camera over. This is going to be my my summary thread for the UFN event. I've actually only just got round to watching it. I didn't realise it was hosted on Saturday, so I watched it on Sunday instead. I'm finishing my chips as well. It is about midnight here in England, and I am about a week late watching this, but there we are. I want to clear up a few things. First of all, Huston Alexander, when he lost, he made an objection, and people have sort of asked if that's a situation that I'd hold against him. Probably not, under the circumstances of how he did it. He seemed to be not very complimentous at the time. I don't think he knew quite where he was, so no, it's not. I was immediately horrified at hearing and seeing the GIF that's been posted on the forum of Nick Diaz sort of flexing and flipping the birdie at the camera halfway through submitting Pellegrino. I like both of these fighters, and although I called that one sort of correct, I did think that Nick Diaz would probably win in the second with a submission. I like them both, and I don't usually like or go for people who are showboating in the middle of a performance. You know, let's be professional about this. My thoughts were that he could actually have been responding to something that Pellegrino did earlier that round. If you watch him, he did something to the camera with his hands as well. So, yeah, okay, whatever. I'll not say anything more than that. Bit disappointed, to be honest, but we'll live with it. I was very impressed with Matt Hamill. I think he needs to learn to defend from kickboxing kicks, so to speak. He's an inspiration to, or should be an inspiration to, a number of UFC fighters who are not English and who don't really speak English and don't really try. You know, if Matt Hamill can manage to speak, and he can't hear what he's saying, which is why it comes out slurred, then you know, it's motivation for others to be able to speak too. And I think he did very, very well. I thought he was great, despite the off-putting looks by Joe Rogan, who didn't really seem to follow. I wasn't impressed with Karo Parisyan. I'm afraid that I take a very dim view of people who don't control themselves at the moment of a loss. You can find out the real character of a fighter by looking at how he acts after a win or a defeat. Now, you could claim that the loss for Karo Parisyan should never have happened. It's not obvious from the camera angles, but what you can't, you know, what isn't up for debate is the horrendous way that Karo performed after the fight. You know, to start spitting and screaming and pushing and you know, ignoring your opponent when he comes up to you know, commiserate with you, as Karo did, is it's a discredit to the sport, in my personal opinion, because you know, these people are watching this, and we're not barbarians, we're actually professional people, and I just don't. I think it's so disappointing. I very, very rarely support people that I consider bad in character, and that is precisely what I look out for and think, you know, wouldn't touch him with a barge pole. It just goes to cement the idea that this outburst from Karo Parisyan that we saw on Tough before with Nathan Diaz is completely, you know, completely him, and I just... The Tommy Speer fight could have been called earlier. I think that Tim Mills, the referee, is going to become my new Herb Dean if he doesn't take a little bit more care and attention over what's going on. It was quite obvious that Speer was out 2 or 3 times before he ended up crumpled in a heap next to the fence. I would rather see Tommy Speer, who I support, I'd rather see him stopped, at sort of at maybe 35 seconds into the fight, than brain damaged because some referee hasn't actually managed to see that the guy's been out 2 or 3 times after sustaining about 20 odd hits, and it's not until he ends up crumpled on the floor that anybody notices. Obviously he hasn't been damaged, but it's not right, and really I think they should take a little bit more care and attention of that. Not happy. I mean, I wanted Speer to win. I did, and nobody wants to see somebody lose, but I would rather he lose dramatically and very quickly, than end up, hurt. Johnson, on the other hand, comes across as a complete ass. I didn't like him when I saw him in some of the post-fight interviews on the website. No, I definitely don't like him. His image works for some people, but not for him. No. I've grown up around cats my whole life, and if you ever see a cat mistime a jump and sort of end up in a little bit of a problem, their movements look exactly like Joe Lauzon during the first round when he was kicked to the floor by Kenny Florian, which sort of struck me as being highly interesting. I think that fight was called quite fairly. Lauzon had plenty of time, most of the round, to persuade Herb Dean that he could actually do anything other than, just put his arms in front of his face. Having said that, Florian should have had a point deducted for, what he did with the illegal strikes, illegal elbows, and that he needs to watch that, because a lot of people have said, he's one to watch when it comes down to doing something illegal. What was it with the holding the fence during the Sean Shirk match and stuff like that? Respect the rules and try and keep within them, I think, should be a notice to him. He thanks God. Now, I'd like to know if that means that he's a Christian, or what exactly, who exactly he thinks he's thanking. I'm very interested in that sort of thing, and connecting with people that are. But despite being a friend on my MySpace, he's one of the people that I haven't actually got round to talking to at all or communicating with. So perhaps this will be a gateway into that. And now that I've finished my chips, I'm completely knackered. I think I'll go to bed.